Recently I've sort of been thinking back about the whole 2012 debacle, where essentially 2012 was either going to spell the end of the world or it was going to spell out a new age of enlightenment for mankind. And as much as I understand that the end of the world part didn't happen, the age of enlightenment part didn't happen either. And I started thinking to myself, well, what's been going on lately? I mean, you have people going around acting totally and completely insane. Where, down south, it's they're not just having a difference of opinion and expressing those opinions. People down south are going out of their way to be jerks. When it comes to women's health, when it comes to gay rights, I mean, these people are going out of their way to demonstrate a level of malevolence that we have not seen in quite some time, since like the 50s or 60s. And this is just malevolence where people are just horrid to one another. I mean, just today I ended a long, well, not a friendship, but more like an acquaintance with somebody who I thought was a rational and reasonable human being. At least to some degree, where he was able to at least look at both sides of the issue. And it turns out that he was becoming a lot more like his fellow believers in XYZ ideology. And I'm really curious as to what's going on with evangelicals. Now, the reason I brought up the 2012 issue is that really since 2008, maybe a little bit before then, the evangelicals have gotten a lot meaner. They've gotten a lot harsher. They've gotten a lot nastier with their rhetoric. And it's a lot worse than back when I was an evangelical. A lot worse. I mean, some of the things that are done nowadays you wouldn't even think of doing. And I know I say this every once in a while, and a lot of you that have subscribed to my channel and listened to my channel and heard what I had to say, I think you're going to find this idea a little bit unsettling. That since 2012, we've seen a remarkably aggressive uptick in ideological fanaticism here on this planet, especially in the United States. But now we're seeing it in countries like England, in the United Kingdom, excuse me, where they're passing laws to basically filter out internet porn, but not only internet porn, but esoteric websites as well. Sites that talk about things like astrology, witchcraft, alternative religious practices. And I'm starting to wonder to myself, are we seeing something within evangelical Christianity and conservative Christianity where it's no longer about at least trying to get people to have some kind of relationship with the divine or with the Creator, but focusing more on trying to hurt as many people as they possibly can, trying to get people as angry at them and as hostile to them as they possibly can. And I have to wonder, what would be the benefit of getting people angry at them and hostile and mean and nasty to them? And then I kind of thought to myself, wait a minute. The great persecution. Now, a lot of you are thinking, well, what does that have to do with it? Think about this for a minute. The goal of the evangelical denominations and the evangelical churches is to essentially bring about Armageddon and the second coming of Christ. Now, as long as they're actually practicing what Jesus has taught, the thing about doing good unto others as you would have them do unto you, love your neighbor, things like that, they're not going to generate the level of anger and hostility that they need to generate a great persecution. I mean, listen to how they're thinking, okay? That, take the Trayvon Martin case. You have a lot of these people talking about how there's going to be riots and this, that, and the other thing, and then when they're talking about marriage equality, they're talking about how, pastors and preachers are going to be jailed for, not allowing gay marriage and for preaching the gospel, blah, blah, blah. But if you think about it, a lot of the persecution that they're trying to generate is essentially a self-fulfilling prophecy, where they're trying to get so many people angry at them and hostile towards them that the backlash alone would seriously they're hoping that the backlash alone will generate enough anger and hate towards them to warrant a great persecution. I've said this before, and even back when I was an evangelical, it's like, if there's going to be anything like that, the Christians are going to bring it on themselves. And it looks like I'm right. Again. 2012 was sort of like something happened. It wasn't like the end of the world kind of thing. It just, there was such a hype and a build-up of 2012, especially in the evangelical communities that talked about the Mayan prophecy, go figure, that they tried to build it up as some kind of return of Christ, blah, 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 and nothing happened. So now they have to change their tactics, where it's no longer about helping people, but it's about denying their fellow Americans the same rights that they enjoy. As a matter of fact, they're trying to claim special privileges that they never had, not even in the 50s. And any of those privileges that they did have, they earned hard. And it's not just the evangelicals, there's other groups too. But, if you think about it for a minute, what 2012 did was that it opened the door of crazy that much wider. It opened the door of insanity that much further, and they're now trying to capitalize on it by generating enough anger and hatred towards them that it starts the great persecution. Something to think about. This is Dumac the Artist signing off. Slanchini Falcha. Have a nice day.